been protesting again against police brutality. These are the latest pictures that we've got from the French capital this evening. Protesters there for the past few hours now have been rallying after 4 policemen allegedly sexually assaulted a young man in a Paris suburb last Thursday. They were originally charged with rape. However, over the weekend, 3 reportedly had the charges against them downgraded. Tuesday's unrest follows days of riots in a Paris suburb where the victim was detained by police.
It's not normal, we're all frustrated. We're at war with the police. If they do that today, they can do it again tomorrow.
These kind of things happen every day. Everybody, every day is roughed up by the police. They attack us and they insult us.
In one incident, hooligans doused a police car with petrol and threw Molotov cocktails at police. Their goal is to kill officers.
The 22-year-old man at the heart of the claims says the incident took place when the policeman stopped him to check his ID. Charlotte Dubinskij reports from Paris.
Well, as you can see behind me, there are protesters, a group of around a few hundred people. Now, this is smaller than was here originally, because what's happened is the police have been dispersing the protesters through the different streets here in Paris, but they are angry. And if you can make out what they're saying is they hate the police, everybody hates the police, and they are against police brutality. Now, the reason the majority of people are out here tonight on the streets of Paris protesting is because of this incident that happened in the northern suburbs of Paris last week. This is a 22-year-old man who was taken over and asked for a routine ID search and then was allegedly assaulted in that search. 3 officers now stand accused of aggravated assault, and another police officer stands accused of raping that man. Now, the riot police have been steadily moving back as those protesters have been throwing bottles, have been running towards them, and at points throughout the night what we've seen is the protesters running past the riot squads and then running up the streets, smashing windows as they go. Now, we ourselves have also been threatened here tonight, being told that they will smash our camera and that we need to get out of the place. And this is the kind of tension that we saw today when we went to Seine-Saint-Denis, which is where this incident, these protests originally started over the weekend after that incident last Thursday. We were there today and we had rocks thrown at us. We had groups of young men coming up to us and telling us that we needed to get lost out of the area. And in fact, we actually witnessed 2 journalists from another station being assaulted by the same crew that had told us to leave the area. So as you can see, tensions here in Paris are very high tonight. And if you just come round with me now, you'll see just how much of a police presence there is here to stop these protesters from moving any further, to keep them in and to try and alleviate some of the situation. But these protesters, who, if you come back with me around here, they are very angry tonight, very angry about what they see as another incident of police brutality here in Paris.
Now, this is not the first time that France has seen violent reactions to the authorities using rough tactics. A live reaction now from Cécile Leroux, who's a multiculturalism expert. Welcome to the programme. Thanks for joining us. We heard from our correspondent in Paris and the increasingly agitated march that's been getting underway for a couple of hours now. A huge police presence there, but of course the anger is directed at the police in this instance. Is there a danger, do you think, that it could get hijacked by troublemakers?
There's always a danger that these type of situations get can get hijacked by troublemakers, but what's most terrible is the actual problem itself. And there's enough reason to be extremely angry with the police and to feel an incredible feeling of disappointment and distrust towards a group that should be there to protect civilians and to keep the peace. But luckily, it seems as though there has been quite a bit of reaction on the part of the authorities in France, and I salute that at least. It's just always so sad when the anger starts, and there has been so much fuel thrown into the fire with so much stigmatization with immigrant populations, Muslim populations, that really sensitivities are very high, and anger is very, very quick to light and spread.
Because, of course, there are a few factors involved here, aren't there? Because you've got this racially charged atmosphere that you just alluded to there. It's a protest against authority figures and the police in general. And with all that in mind, how much worse can this descend? Do you fear that it's going to turn into riots again?
You know, it's really hard to tell, but France supposedly has a state of emergency on, and so normally there should be a little bit of contact being taken with all of the populations and some background work done. And I'm afraid that maybe they haven't been doing enough of that, and that's why these riots have set off, because the anger is just being expressed above all, and the capacity for the police at this point to withhold everything might be in a state of non-preparation, and indeed, you know, you might see an escalation. There's definitely a lot of sentiments and a lot of news and a lot of happenings, and this one incident is absolutely horrendous, and it's very understandable that people who just want to have a peaceful life and who might live in a neighborhood that is a little bit less fancy still have the right to be tranquil, and they have been really assaulted in their heart and soul.
But further down the line here, we've got one officer who's been charged, the others have reduced charges, so there'll be a trial, and then after that, and this isn't an issue that's going to go away very quickly for the people living in a city that's been on the edge with the police for a couple of years now, once that trial is completed, whichever way it goes, that division's still going to be there, isn't it?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid that the division between different populations in France is something that has been fomented and fuel being put on the fire. It has been happening for a while, because there are laws that are being passed against women who dress in a certain way. There's just a lot of stigmatizing going on, and the favorite subject for right-wing and even middle-wing political parties at the moment is to complain about Islam and complain about Muslims. It's becoming kind of a world fad to blame everything on these populations. And of course, that's not going to help this type of atmosphere, and it can only make it worse.
But aside from what happened in that incident, you mentioned the districts in Paris, euphemistically the less salubrious districts of Paris, which are mostly residents are migrants in there. The police are concerned of what they describe as no-go zones. They've got to do something, though, haven't they, when unrest breaks out on the street? They've had Molotov cocktails thrown at them.
This has been something that's been happening for years, and just so that you know, these are not neighborhoods where there are migrant populations. These are French populations. Aulnay-sous-Bois is a suburb of Paris. There are definitely mostly populations of foreign origin, and one of the biggest organizational failures of France has been to organize for all of these populations to live in one place. And, you know, as you can see, it makes the press and our conversations refer to these places as if they were sort of like ghettos with migrants or whatever. But this is very close to Paris, and these are neighborhoods where there are many respectable people, and there's a little bit of crime. There's definitely a lot of poverty, so there's more tendency towards crime. So the police presence and the police more the beat should be more present there. There should be more relationship building there, and there is none of that, which means that all you need is for an incident like this to happen, and things can escalate very, very far.
Yeah, we're going to keep a watch on what's happening in Paris. It's certainly been getting more agitated over the past couple of hours, Cecile. But for now, Cecile Leroux, multiculturalism expert, thanks for joining us on RT.
Thank you.